Anyway, today I want to honestly take my thought from that fifth verse. I guess that's part B. As I was with Moses, so I will be with thee. And I want to just take for a subtopic today. You must remember the God factor. You must remember the God factor. You must remember the God factor. If you're going to possess your promise, you got to prepare. If you're going to possess the promise, you have to prepare. Now, can I submit to you that all of us, in some form or fashion, should be by now looking to possess the promise or a promise? How about that? You ought to have somewhere in your mind, in these last, we've been over about 7, 8 weeks. We've been in this series. Something should have triggered you to say, you know what am I believing God for? What am I looking to the future to achieve? What has God promised me that hasn't manifested yet, but I'm on my way to the manifestation of it? The promise I submit to you was not initiated by you. I'm going to say that again. The promise that you are pursuing, honestly, wasn't initiated by you. When you look at the text, the text, the first thing it talks about is the confession or the promise that made to Joshua. He said to Moses, my servant is dead. Now you go over this Jordan, you and all this people, unto a land that I give you. So the promise was not initiated by Joshua, but it was initiated by God. What has God promised you? What are you believing God for? I submit that a whole lot of things that have come to us didn't just come out your mind, but the promise has come because you heard something either in a sermon or the prophet came and spoke to you. It came in your personal prayer time. I tell people in our class, my Sunday school class, that listen, we have to learn the voice of God and how God speaks to you. God doesn't speak to all of us the same way. Thank you for the few amens. It was just a few of us in here. God doesn't speak to us all the same way, but he talks to you in the way that you, at some point, should really understand and get. And I tell people a lot of times it's by trial and error. If you think God told you to run out there and punch that cop in the face and you believe that was God telling you to do it, and you do it and you got arrested, that probably wasn't God. uh, does what he's saying to you, number one, does it line up with Scripture? And somebody says, and does it really make sense? But honestly, sometimes what God says don't make sense. So it's not according to your senses, but it's really according to God. What do you say about this thing? And then that's how you get to really know His voice. Is really by trial and error. And often, sometimes you need to judge it. Well, this is what I believe God said to me. Does this sound like God to you? And you say that to somebody who is a trusted voice in your life. Does this sound like God to you? And the more you open your ears up and your heart to hear the voice of God, the more He'll talk to you, because it's not that He's not trying to talk to you. We just don't be listening. And we hear so many other voices. And so we have to learn how to silence the voices that sometimes flood our brain, because sometimes it's not the voice of God, but it's the voice of your insecurity. It's the voice of your historical data. That your insecurity is tied to. So but once you know it's the Lord's voice, and once you understand what God has promised, you understand, God, I didn't initiate this. I didn't initiate starting no church. That was furthest on my radar. We was enjoying doing whatever we was doing, but the problem was it got uncomfortable. We was there uh and what we realized is we can't continue on like this because excuse me, this environment is not safe. Whole nother conversation for another day. But but then we found out God was saying, "Hey, I got something else for you, and this is what I want you to do." So the promise, most times, beloved, is not initiated by you, but it's initiated by God. And God knows better than you what his will is for you. God knows better what you can handle and what really is in you. Oftentimes, we don't know what's in us until pressure gets on us. Oftentimes, we don't know what's in us until we're forced to do it. Oh, I can't sing in front of the people, but now you got to because you're the only person we got to sing. And I'm gonna say this again. Most times we don't know what we have in us because, can I submit to you, nobody never told you how good you were. Nobody never told you, really affirmed you. Now, when some of us, y'all know some of us girls was coming up, we know we did good when we didn't get yelled at. If they didn't fuss, that meant you did a good job. But if they was why would you do? Oh, you messed up. But that's negative reinforcement. And oftentimes, again, what the promise that we're in pursuit of wasn't initiated by you. It was initiated by God. And so God